picture this. You are sitting on your couch watching an American movie. You hear the actors talking, and you understand every single word.
Right, it feels great.
Yeah, you feel wonderful. You think, wow, my English is getting really good. You know the vocabulary, you understand the grammar. But then the very next day, you are standing face to face with a native English speaker.
And that changes everything.
Exactly. They smile, they look at you, and they ask a simple question. Maybe they just say, what did you do this weekend? And suddenly, your mind goes completely blank. You just freeze.
Yeah, it is a terrible, frustrating feeling. You know the answer in your head. You have the words somewhere in your brain, but your mouth simply stops working.
Nothing comes out.
Right, nothing comes out.
Let me explain exactly what happens in your brain when this happens. First, you hear the question. Then your brain thinks of your answer in your native language. Next, you try to translate that answer into English, one word at a time. After that, you stop to check your grammar. You ask yourself, wait, is it past tense? Do I use was or did?
And by the time you finally build the perfect, beautiful sentence in your head, well, the conversation is already over. The other person has moved on to a new topic. You missed your chance to speak.
We hear this story all the time from English learners, but today we have a mission. We are taking a deep dive into a wonderful guide called Stop Translating, Speak English Naturally.
I love this guide.
It is so helpful. Our goal today is to discover how to train your brain. We want to help you stop this exhausting mental translation. We want you to start thinking directly in English.
Absolutely.
And the best part, you do not need to memorize thousands of new words to do this.
You really do not. And before we begin, I want to say something very important about translation. We're going to speak slowly and clearly today because we want to unpack this carefully. Translating is not always a bad thing.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I always thought translating was the enemy of learning a language. I mean, I thought teachers always said, never translate.
Well, not at the very beginning. When you start learning a brand new language, your brain needs a bridge.
Okay, a bridge.
Yes. For example, imagine you are a beginner and you hear the phrase, I'm running late. Your brain has to work slowly. You think, okay, the word running means moving fast. The word late means not on time.
Right.
You translate the words to build a bridge to your native language, and then you understand the meaning. This is how the brain learns new things.
That makes sense. You have to start somewhere, you know? If you do not know any words at all, you have to use your native language to understand the very first steps.
Exactly. But here's where the problem starts. The problem happens when you are no longer a beginner. You know a lot of words now, but you still continue to translate every single sentence during a live conversation.
Ah, I see. You are still using the beginner strategy for an advanced situation.
Right. If someone asks you, what did you do this weekend, and you try to build your answer word by word, you're working way too hard.
Yeah.
A casual conversation suddenly feels like you're taking a difficult mental exam.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Your brain uses up all its energy just trying to pick the right words.
Let's think about this with an analogy. A picture to help us understand why this is so exhausting. Translating every word is like, well, trying to build a car from scratch every single time you want to drive to the grocery store.
Building a car. Walk me through that.
Okay, imagine you need to buy some milk. The store is just 5 minutes away. But before you can drive there, you walk into your garage and you start building a car. First, you build the engine.
Okay, sounds like a lot of work.
It is. Then you screw the wheels onto the car. Next, you put the seats inside. You paint the doors. By the time you finally build the car and turn the key, well, the grocery store is closed.
That is a brilliant way to look at it. Building a sentence word by word is just too slow for a real conversation. Conversations move fast.
But wait, this brings up a big question. If I cannot build the sentence word by word, what do native speakers do? How do they speak so fast without thinking about the rules?
Well, what is fascinating here is that native speakers do not build sentences from scratch. They do not pick one word and then pick another word and then pick another. Instead, they use familiar, ready-made patterns.
Ready-made patterns. So keeping with the analogy, they just use a car that is already built. They just get in and drive.
Yes, exactly. The brain stores blocks of words that always go together. When a native speaker talks, their brain just pulls that whole block of words out at the same time. They do not think about the individual words at all.
Okay, I want to challenge this idea for a second. If we need these ready-made patterns instead of single words, how does that change the way we learn vocabulary?
It changes everything.
Because right now I have a vocabulary list with 50 single English words on it. I just memorize the word and then the translation.
If you want to speak naturally, you must change that habit today. You must stop learning words completely alone.
So I should, like, throw away my vocabulary list of single words.
You should change it. Let's look at the word decision. When you study, you might write down the English word decision, and next to it, you write the translation in your native language.
Right.
Learning that translation is fine for a reading test, but it is not enough when it is time to speak.
Why not? I mean, I know the word.
Because when you want to speak, you still have to build the rest of the sentence around that one word. You have to think, do I use the verb do a decision or make a decision?
Oh, I see. You are back to building the car from scratch.
Exactly.
Oh.
Okay, I see the problem. So our source material says we should learn whole phrases. Instead of just writing down decision, you should learn the whole phrase, make a decision.
Yes. Now you have a small, ready-made pattern.
And you can learn even longer phrases. You can learn, I haven't made a decision yet, or it is a difficult decision.
Right. Let's try another very common word. The word mistake.
If I just learn the word mistake by itself, I will probably freeze when I try to use it.
Correct. Instead, learn the full pattern. Everyone makes mistakes. Or, I made a big mistake. I really like that one. Everyone makes mistakes. That is a full, complete sentence you can use all the time.
Yeah, and I want to explain the science behind why this works. When you learn a whole phrase, your brain does not have to decode every single word during a conversation.
Decode. What does that mean in the brain?
Decoding means breaking a message apart to understand it. Your brain is a lot like a computer. If a computer has to open 10 small, separate files, it takes a lot of time and energy.
Right.
If it opens one big file, it is much faster. If someone says, everyone makes mistakes, you do not need to translate everyone and then translate makes and then translate mistakes.
Wow, okay.
Your brain just recognizes the whole idea instantly. English becomes something you recognize, not something you constantly translate.
That feels like a massive relief. It is so much easier to just recognize a phrase.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to learn full phrases, won't I sound like a robot? Like I'm just reading from a travel book?
No, not at all.
Because I worry that listeners might think they have to learn highly advanced, complicated sentences to sound like a natural human.
That is a very common misunderstanding. You do not need big, difficult words to sound natural.
Yeah, our guide actually explains that natural English is often very simple. Small, simple phrases are powerful because they give you a superpower. They buy you time to think.
Buying time is a great concept. Let's talk about how that actually works in your brain.
Yes, please. What is happening when I use a phrase to buy time?
Well, your brain has something called working memory. When someone asks you a hard question, your working memory needs about 2 or 3 seconds to go into its filing cabinet and find the right English words.
Okay.
If you stand there in total silence, you feel panicked. The stress makes your working memory stop working.
So instead of freezing in silence and panicking, you can use a simple ready-made phrase like, let me think.
Or you can say, it depends.
Or, give me a second. These phrases are incredibly easy, but they make you sound so natural. And here is the secret. While your mouth is saying, let me think, your working memory has 2 free seconds to calmly find the next words.
Right. You keep the conversation alive. You keep the connection with the other person.
Now, here is a situation I see all the time. I know a lot of intermediate learners. They know enough English to communicate perfectly well. They know the simple phrases, but they still freeze.
Why do they freeze?
They freeze because they're terrified of making a grammar mistake.
Ah, the fear of bad grammar. This is the biggest trap for an English learner.
They think, if I do not use the perfect past tense, the native speaker will laugh at me. Or they think, if I say the wrong word, they will think I'm stupid, so they choose to say nothing at all.
Let me be very clear about this. Waiting for perfect grammar will destroy your ability to speak. Let's do a test. Let's say you want to tell a friend a story about yesterday. You open your mouth and you say, yesterday I go to the store.
Okay, the grammar there is clearly wrong. It should be, yesterday I went to the store because the action happened in the past.
The grammar is wrong. But let me ask you this. Did the other person understand this story?
Yes. They heard the word yesterday and they heard the word store. They know exactly what you did and when you did it.
Absolutely. They completely understood your message. They are not judging your verb tense. They are just listening to your story. Communication is about sharing a message. It is not about passing a grammar test.
I really want to make sure I understand this. Making a mistake is actually okay.
It is more than okay. It is necessary. Fluent English is not perfect English. Fluent English is English that keeps moving.
Fluent English is English that keeps moving. That is so powerful. Do not stop speaking just because you use the wrong verb. Just keep moving.
So true.
Okay, I love the theory. We know we need simple phrases. We know we shouldn't worry about perfect grammar. But that is much easier to say than to do. When I am standing in front of a real person, my brain still wants to translate. How do our listeners actually train their brains at home to stop this habit?
Well, our source material provides a highly practical exercise for this. It trains your brain to skip the translation step.
It is called the 3-second rule. I think we need to demonstrate this right now so people can hear how it works.
Let's do it. The rules are simple. I will ask you a basic question. You cannot translate. You cannot worry about grammar. You must give me an answer in less than 3 seconds.
Okay.
It does not matter if the answer is only one word. Just open your mouth and speak.
I might make a mistake, but I am ready. Ask me anything.
What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Great. You did it. What are you going to do tomorrow?
I am going to work.
Excellent. What is the weather like right now?
It is raining.
Perfect. What did you do yesterday morning?
I drank coffee.
See? That was excellent. You kept moving.
I have to admit, on the first question, I almost panicked. But then I realized, notice something about my answers. None of them were long. None of them were beautiful, complicated speeches. I just said pizza and it is raining.
Exactly. Because the goal of the 3-second rule is not to make a beautiful speech. The goal is breaking the habit of silence. You are teaching your mouth to open and make English sounds quickly. You are forcing the brain to grab the first English word it finds without checking the native language first.
You can do this by yourself at home. Take your phone, open the voice recorder. Ask yourself simple questions like, what is my favorite movie? And then answer them in 3 seconds.
It is a wonderful exercise. And if you want to take this a step further, you can also practice thinking in English during your daily life.
Like when I am just walking around my house.
Exactly. When you are making breakfast in the morning, do not think about the food in your native language. Think in English. Look at the pan and think, I am making some eggs.
Or when I am walking to the front door, I can think, where are my keys?
I need to leave now. It's cold outside. Keep it very simple. Attach English directly to your real life.
Why does this work so well?
Because when you connect English to real physical objects in your house, you build an English environment in your brain. Your brain realizes, oh, I could use English for my real life, not just in a classroom.
That makes a lot of sense. You are creating a second nature, even if it is just for 5 minutes a day in your kitchen.
Yes, you're living in the language.
So if a listener uses the 3-second rule, they will start speaking faster, the words will come out. But I have another problem.
What is that?
When I try this, I can get the words out, but I still sound choppy. I sound like a robot reading words from a list. How do I get that smooth, connected flow that native speakers have?
This brings us to a technique called shadowing.
Shadowing. Like a dark shadow on the ground that follows you everywhere you walk.
That is a great visual. Shadowing means listening to a fluent English speaker and repeating what they say out loud almost at the exact same time.
Wait, I do not wait for them to finish their sentence.
No, you follow right behind them like a shadow. As soon as you hear the words, you say them. You try to copy their voice, their speed, and their emotion.
Why is this so helpful? I mean, how does copying someone change my brain?
Because speaking English is a physical activity. It is like learning a sport, like playing tennis. Your tongue, your lips, and your vocal cords need physical exercise to make new sounds.
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
Natural English is not just about knowing vocabulary. It is about how words physically connect to each other.
Oh, this is so true. Native speakers push words together all the time, and it completely changes the sound. For example, if you read a textbook, it says, what are you doing? But when a native speaker talks quickly in real life, it sounds like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Exactly. The words crash into each other.
Or a book says, did you eat yet? But in real life, a native speaker pushes it together and says, did ya eat yet?
Did you eat yet?
Yes.
When you practice shadowing, your mouth builds muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
You get used to making these connected sounds.
Yeah.
You feel the rhythm of English in your muscles, not just in your mind.
Our guide breaks this down to a daily 10-minute routine. And since we want to give you tools you can use today, I'm going to explain the routine step by step. It only takes 10 minutes.
10 minutes is completely manageable. Everyone can find 10 minutes.
Here is the structure. Step 1, the first 2 minutes. You just listen. Pick a short English video, maybe a YouTube video or a podcast.
Right. Do not speak. Do not read.
Just listen to the music of the language. Let your ears adjust to the speed.
Then step 2, the next 2 minutes, you listen to the exact same audio again.
But this time, listen closely for useful phrases. Listen for those blocks of words we talked about earlier. Notice how the speaker connects the words.
Step 3, minutes 5 and 6. This is the main event. Now you shadow the speaker. Play the audio and speak out loud at the exact same time. Copy their rhythm.
And this is very important. Do not stop if you miss a word. If you stumble, just catch the next word and keep going. Keep your shadow moving.
Step 4, minutes 7 and 8. Turn off the video. Turn off the subtitles. Try to say the ideas out loud yourself from your own memory.
You do not have to be perfect. Just summarize what you heard.
And finally, step 5, the last 2 minutes. Speak freely about your own life. Use the new phrases you just heard in the video, but apply them to your day.
Ignore your mistakes completely. Just let the English flow out of you.
That is a powerful 10 minutes. 2 minutes to listen, 2 minutes for phrases, 2 minutes to shadow, 2 minutes to summarize, and 2 minutes to speak freely.
If you do that every day, your muscle memory will change rapidly.
It is a complete workout for your brain and your mouth.
We've covered a lot of important ground in this deep dive. We learned why translating every word is like building a car from scratch. We talked about using ready-made phrases so your brain can decode instantly.
Yes.
We talked about using simple phrases to buy time for your working memory. We practiced the 3-second rule. And we learned how to build muscle memory with a 10-minute shadowing routine.
It is a very complete system for thinking naturally.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Our source material saves the most important lesson for the very end. We know that translating every word is a mistake. But do you know what the biggest mistake of all is?
The biggest mistake an English learner can make is waiting.
Waiting.
Yes,
Yeah.
waiting until your English is perfect before you try to speak. Waiting until you have memorized more vocabulary lists. Waiting until you finally understand all the grammar rules. Waiting until you are absolutely sure that you will not be nervous anymore.
I hear this constantly from learners. People say, I will speak English next year when I am a little bit better, or I just need more confidence before I can finally talk to a native speaker.
But that is a massive trap. If you wait until you are not nervous, you might wait for the rest of your life.
Because confidence does not come before speaking.
Exactly. Confidence comes from speaking. Let's think about how this actually happens. You open your mouth, you speak, you make a terrible grammar mistake, and then you survive.
You realize that nobody laughed at you.
The world did not end. The person still smiled and answered your question. So the next day, you try again. You make another mistake, you survive again. And slowly, step by step, your brain realizes that speaking English is safe. It becomes less scary.
You have to build your confidence by doing the scary thing first. Use the messy, imperfect English you have today. Do not wait for the perfect English of tomorrow. Because the mistakes you make today are exactly what build the muscle memory for tomorrow.
Very well said. Action creates confidence.
So here is our call to action for you. We want you to take one small step today. Pick just one simple phrase you learned in this deep dive. Maybe it is. What do you think? Maybe it is everyone makes mistakes.
Pick just one phrase and use it in real life.
Say it to a friend, or if you are alone, say it out loud to yourself in the mirror. Just get your mouth moving and feel the words.
That is the absolute best way to start.
As we finish our deep dive today, I want to hand it over for one final thought. We just talked about how surviving your mistakes is the true secret to building confidence.
Yes, and I want you to think about how a young child learns to speak their very first language. They babble, they mix up their words, they guess, they point at a dog and call it a cat, and most importantly, they never feel embarrassed about it. They just want to communicate. What if your biggest superpower in speaking English isn't finding a better textbook or studying harder, but simply finding your inner child again? What if the fastest way to fluency is just giving yourself permission to babble, make a mess, and play with the language without any shame?